So planning a podcast season has a lot of appeal and tons of advantages, but how do you plan a podcast season? We'll show you in today's video.
Planning for podcast seasons requires a bit more upfront work compared to other types of publication schedules. You want to be able to have a more cohesive structure so that it feels like a podcast season. So with that in mind, here are some tips on how you can plan a podcast season.
One of the ways that you can make a series of episodes feel more like a season is to create a season around a certain topic. And one of the things that you can do to figure out what topic you want to have for your season is to look at podcast episodes that have performed well in the past. So if you have a parenting podcast and you had an episode do really well around alternative methods of discipline, you can create an entire season dedicated to discipline. And that way you've got your episodes locked in, but also you've planned a topic that you know your audience will enjoy.
Another option is to structure your season in a narrative format. Most obvious example is a fiction podcast. If you're creating a season for an audio drama, it makes sense to have your episodes in order of the story. Or in your example, Jalan, with the parenting podcast, a narrative structure could look like each episode talking about a different age range. So the first episode could be 0 to 3 months, and then 6 to 9 months, and then so on and so forth.
Once you've decided what structure you want your season to follow, whether topic or narrative based, now you need to decide how many episodes will be in a season, when it's going to start, when it's going to end. There's no rule of thumb here. You can have as many or as little episodes in a season as you want.
Probably not 1,000.
Probably not that many. But you do need to decide on that number. So once you've decided, hey, I want to have 15 episodes in this season, then you need to provide an outline for yourself. So high level, what are you going to include? What resources will you share? And then your call to action. For example, if I had a season around mental health, I would then plan out maybe to have each episode go over a specific mental health diagnosis, what resources are available, and then my call to action, whatever that may be for my podcast.
Going on with what Jalan said, don't forget to plan a way to talk about upcoming episodes to make your season feel more cohesive and to pique listener curiosity so that they stay tuned for new episodes. Once you have all that figured out, now it's time to pick a launch date and work backwards to plan out all of your episodes. That way, it'll be easy to map out your production schedule, such as finding guests, recording the podcast, all the way to editing the show itself.
Next, as your season comes to a close, you'll want to plan an end-of-season signpost. This just basically means that you signal to your listeners, hey, the season is ending, it's wrapping up, we're coming up on that second to last or last episode. This way they know, hey, the season is wrapping up, and they prepare for your break. You'll want to talk about when your break begins, possibly when you'll be back if you know that, and then other ways for them to connect with you while you're on break. So that could be social media or signing up for an email newsletter if you have one.
Last but not least, create a season trailer. This usually lasts about 30 to 60 seconds, and you can put it on your podcast feed to build a lot of anticipation for your upcoming season. So it can describe what your upcoming season is about, any guests that you may have on the podcast, or even topics that you plan on having for future episodes. You want to keep your trailer simple, and then you want to publish that trailer about a week or more before your season launches.
The point is, you just want to have a plan so that you can create the best show possible for your listeners.
And it'll help you from feeling too overwhelmed because you'll know exactly what kind of content you want to create.
If you want to know more about how to take a break at the end of your podcast season, check out this video Badr did talking about how to take a break from your podcast. Thanks for watching, and as always, keep podcasting.